Scott here with Drew.
Drew!
After a 3-1 victory over NYCFC, who've been in the conference for a long time.
This is an established team.
This is an established team. Funded by the best of the best.
Yeah.
I mean, Man City, you don't get that kind of money from nowhere.
They have a good squad. This is a good squad that they put out tonight.
That's right.
A lot of good players. They're 42.
42.
Rodriguez is his name.
Rodriguez.
Santiago Rodriguez.
With the platinum blonde.
Yeah,
he was extremely dangerous and rarely marked.
So let's talk about them first.
So
and so Rodriguez didn't get a lot of marking because he was kind of out a little bit wider. A lot of space for him to be creative.
Too much space.
And we didn't really make a correction for that. He did get subbed off around 70. So thankfully.
When he came off, I was elated.
Yes, exactly.
I was very glad. But the only problem was we let him run free and rampant for so long.
Yeah.
And I think had we not had Mayer in the back to lock things down, stop crosses from coming in with big headers.
Mayer had a good game.
Right, then it could have been dangerous.
So we'll talk a little bit more. I'm going to talk a little bit more about them, and then we'll talk about us.
Then we'll talk about us.
Okay.
So
Castellanos is the one that I want to talk about.
They're 11. Castellanos, deadly.
He is a stone cold killer. He didn't get any killing it with us tonight.
I think
he did have the assist.
He had a couple of shots.
He had the assist.
Well, an assist for a goal that was offside, but it stood.
It was.
It stood. The thing about Castellanos though is early on, he was shooting straight at Willis, and I wasn't sure if he hadn't warmed up properly. Had he not?
Yeah, none of them. A lot of them looked kind of grass burnery.
He misstruck a lot of balls.
He had to. We weren't giving him a lot of space. The space that he was getting was behind him, and so we weren't letting him turn. So he was having to kind of step out and come back on it.
Yeah.
And so he's not going to get a lot of power on it. He is an A-class player, so he should be able to do something with it. But again, I think that we did a good job on him. But he is a stone cold killer, and in some ways, just the fact that he only had an assist tonight is a real kudos to our defense. It's a real testament to how well everyone played.
And if you think about it, the fact that
Wilson, I was worried because he's not the tallest guy and he's not the most muscular guy, and I was worried that Castellanos was just going to bully him, and it didn't happen.
And I was also worried that Dos Santos would come out and wreck us, but he wasn't even out. He's hurt. I think his knee is injured.
Didn't see him.
Like that.
That's okay. I can live with that.
I'm okay with it.
I'm sorry for that.
I'll take the 3-1. I mean, honestly. One thing I have to say though is the fact that we covered Castellanos so well and 10 so well.
Yeah.
Meant that 42 got free reign. Right?
I think that's right.
On the outside.
Yeah.
Because we had 3 flat across the back, and if you had probably what was 2 devoted to keeping the middle locked down so Castellanos couldn't just get a ball through, then, I mean, now you've got Santiago just running across the wing, kind of free. But it worked out.
It did.
But
it was letting him run free, he did create a lot of chances that made us look out of sorts in the back. But it worked out because he didn't score any goals and he didn't create any goals. But there were times that I felt like we were exposed more than I would have preferred for us to at least make some changes. So let's talk. So first off, from our team, the player I want to talk about, that is not getting, I think, enough of the conversation here at NSC Fan TV and just generally, is Romney. He's the Ironman. He's started every game. And he's not been subbed out. He is the only player right now in MLS that has played every minute of every game he was eligible for. Dave Romney is the fucking Iron Man.
The Iron Man.
And he makes a difference. He doesn't get pushed around. There's no we were talking about folks who were like, well, he might get pushed around here and there, but he had a good game. Dave Romney doesn't get pushed around.
Romney does the pushing around.
He's a damn bully.
He gets up also. I mean, when it comes to stopping balls that were like crosses into the middle, I think more often than not it's Romney who's getting those off.
It's Romney who's
making those kind of clearances,
pushing folks out of the way. So a great night for him, and really super play. Yeah. Great play in the back. I think that all 3 of our center backs had good games,
especially given that we didn't have Anibaba out and we didn't have Zimmerman out.
And Zimmerman out there, and you know what? Jack Mayer absorbed a lot of hard blows tonight.
He did. I felt bad. I mean,
when Castellanos just came plowing into him, in the first 5 minutes.
I was going to say it wasn't even 5 minutes in after the corner, and he's on the floor.
It was ridiculous. But you know what? He gathered his shit and he made it happen.
He got up, he made it work.
He made it happen. Yeah.
I guess the 3-5-2 might be here to stay.
It may be.
We may have transitioned
those wingers
from the
and those wingers being able to fall back and play defense when they need to.
And we did it without Johnston.
We did it without Johnston, and we did it. And so we had Washington on the left,
and Lovett's
on the right.
Lovett's on the right in the Atlanta game,
and just like
see, I wasn't there for the Atlanta game,
but Johnston was in that overlapping position with him, playing that sort of third back on the right. And so that's a good spot for Johnston if you're going to have some going forward.
Right.
And I think that Lovett's created the pass to Rios that scored the goal against Atlanta. So that was great. And he had a lot of positive play tonight. And so did Taylor Washington. Great job on the wings. Let's talk about the two center midfielders.
Oh.
Okay, so we're gonna hold off on Dax for a second. I want to talk about.
Okay, so we'll hold off on Dax. So talk about.
Are you okay with that?
Okay, sure.
Because I want to talk about Anunga. So what an excellent tackler he is. But
there's a but.
There's a but coming.
But.
And the but is he had a great defensive game, and he had a dog shit, a twisted, stinking piece of dog shit with weird things in it game going forward.
Yeah.
His balls forward were almost always to blue. It was not good, and it was infuriating.
He would dig the ball out and then just give it away.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're going to do all that work bulldogging it out,
just kick it out of bounds. I don't even know.
Get it off. Don't give it right back to them.
So look, I think that this was a game where he played great defense, and so he made a positive contribution. Whenever he did give the ball away, it was always downfield, and so that's not as
impactful, but it's still it's frustrating to see, especially because we came up 3-1, but then you look at possession, especially in the first half, and it makes you think, wait,
how did that happen?
Were they really doing nothing with all that possession?
They did zero with all that possession.
I mean, part of it goes back to before the defensive midfielders, you got the flat three that just held it down, but I think Anunga gave it away more than he should have.
Yeah,
more than he normally would.
I was not happy with Brian Anunga's game.
I wasn't either. He probably was the poorest player on the pitch.
Yes, for us. I think that their 7 had the worst game tonight. Golly, he was just getting burned. Yeah, one of the Moraleses, number 7 Morales.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, their 10 also had a bad night because he got a red card. Fuck that guy. But their 7 Morales. So let's talk about him and Sapong in the front.
Okay, him and
Sapong. And then we'll get back to Dax. We'll get back to Dax's game.
Okay.
So Sapong is such a positive player.
Yeah.
He had a great night tonight. He had an assist.
That was a decisive pass into
Mukhtar.
Yeah, that was really good. I think Sapong, their link up,
and he frightens them.
He does. Although we were worried a bit about whether their 7 who didn't have a good game was getting into his head.
That's right. That's what I wanted to talk about.
Early on, Sapong gets psyched out fairly easy.
He wants, I don't know what it is. Somebody's just steps on his foot. And then next thing you know, Sapong is now we have to fight. For 45 minutes.
But I saw them shake hands. I saw them shake hands and then exchange some words and go on.
But then next thing you know,
it's back to you got in my stride. Okay.
So that frustrates me to see somebody get taken out of his game so badly, so quickly.
And someone who's so talented, especially in the air, right? Because
you're bigger than this. You're bigger than this.
You don't have to do this. So seeing Sapong get taken out of his game early on was frustrating. He got back. He was fine.
He had an assist. He had a lot of great chances, created space.
Yeah.
So let's talk about McCarty. So first off, it was McCarty who created the chance for Mukhtar's first goal.
Okay. Yes.
So McCarty's arcing ball up to Mukhtar was perfect eye. And again, it's standard Dax McCarty stuff. He digs the ball out, and his spine straightens, and he sees everything.
The whole pitch. He sees where everyone is.
It's like, how in the world is like standing that tall at 5'6" make it so that you can see everything? I don't know.
He somehow does it.
He does it, and he saw everything, and he made a perfect pass. And so, and he did a lot of. There was a lot of that came from Dax tonight. But then,
you want to know what he also saw? A red card. I mean, that was big, but it came with a red card
for them too.
For them as well.
And so and so here's the cool thing: we got to see 10v10 tonight. That's kind of fun.
It's a little more hustling.
There's
more hustle. There's more hustle in 10v10.
Yeah.
I mean, and they towards the final 30, you saw absolute desperation from their forwards.
It's true.
Or really from their back.
And their backs
getting it over,
lobbing
long balls that went nowhere. I mean,
so let's talk about Mukhtar.
Hani Mukhtar.
Hani. Man of the match. Man of the match for Hani Mukhtar.
He's regularly man of the match.
What a great game from him. What a great game from Mukhtar. Positive play, hustle, smart passes, creating, and you know what? When he runs, he creates space for others.
He does
because the defense goes crazy watching him.
They know. Well, here's the thing. You know you can't give him space because if he does, he might just get a shot off like he did,
and Dax will find him,
and he might just score.
Yeah,
that's one. Okay, two. He might just juke out every defender with their crazy step overs.
Which is what fucking happened with his first goal.
Yes.
He just ran and he just beat two defenders.
His step overs are insane. I mean, it gives him space. Or finally, third, he's just gonna do hold up play, keep the ball, keep possession,
and give it to CJ,
and let Sapong get exactly where he needs to go.
He is good at hold up play. That's right.
No, I think honestly, of all the things I have to praise him for, even above the step overs, even above the Super Charlie hustle stuff that he does, I think even above that, it's the hold up. He knows when to keep the ball, keep possession, let Sapong fly up, and then just serve it in, or kick it back maybe. Yeah. But guess what? You've got your guys up forward. And when you're playing a weird 3-5-2, where the goal, like you often say, is like smash and grab, Gary.
Smash and grab. That was
you've got to do hold up plays. You have no choice.
Unless you're Jamie Vardy, who could just run behind everybody, or he's just not that fast.
Yeah.
Okay. So last player that I want to talk about from our side and starter was Rios.
Yes.
And so 14. So I had started off as a critic of Rios at the beginning of this season and even in last season. Didn't really think that he really had the touch that I thought that he needed to have. But I'm eating my words in the last two games. He's had two really fantastic games. Their own goal was a Rios goal.
It really was. I mean, if it wasn't for I can't say his name, but if it wasn't for him, it was already going in. I think.
Yeah,
I think it was already going in.
Yeah, I think that their defender did.
He just happened to be in the wrong place at the wrong time. Yeah. I mean,
just banked it off of him.
Yeah.
So
Rios is very fast.
It's fat. He is a speedster, and he's strong, and so he doesn't get muscled off balls by defenders. And so I've become very impressed with him. I started off as a critic of him, but I'm now impressed by him. Now let's talk about folks that we're going to continue being critics of.
Well, we've got 99 and 72.
99 and 72. Are we going to say their names yet?
Who shall not be named.
They all should
for me.
Yeah, you know what? I mean, the two most expensive subs in MLS right now.
And I'm not sure Benfica's gonna want.
Yeah, this is not. Bad. Yeah, I don't think this is actually going to help his case to go back to Portugal. I don't know.
Honestly, yeah. I mean, it's just even when he had space, he had time, he had Loba coming in for support. They just had a real hard time making things work. There's a reason they don't start.
Yeah, I mean, and I thought that there were. So I kept track. I was trying to keep track of their link-up play.
Yeah,
they had a couple positive ones. So let's give 72 credit for his first good touch in the MLS.
That was great.
It was a really settle the ball, and that was really fantastic.
That was good. I think that
and then not so much. So
after that, yeah.
So I think that it's great that we got him in. I think that we need to see them improve. I want to see them playing, and I want to see them do well. I'm just really frustrated with them. I mean,
I'm frustrated with how much Loba costs too.
Right.
I mean, he costs too much for him to be sitting on the bench for 70 minutes.
We need a midfielder like we need an offensive midfielder or like a Zellerand or like I mean again like or somebody who could play alongside Dax. Or somebody who could be, or like Dax isn't going to last forever. We need to just find somebody who will eventually be a replacement.
And if we want to play Gary Smith ball, let's just increase defensive depth.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, instead of like having Loba sit on the bench as the most expensive sub. Oh, I said his name.
It's okay.
I'm granting him legitimacy.
We're talking. I mean, he's on our team. We want him to do well.
Okay, Loba. No, I want him to do well. It's just, and at this point, I'm thinking. At first, I thought it could have been language issues because, spoke Spanish.
Maybe it's system issues. But you know what? People like you're playing forward. Like how?
No amount of language. No amount of knowing a language is going to help you settle the ball.
Settle the ball and kick it in the goal. Right?
Yeah.
Nice. There we go. All right. So we got anything else to say? I'm gonna look at my notes.
Okay.
All right. So I'm gonna look at Moyle's hustle. Moyle's hustle.
Also coming on for Rios.
At the half. He broke their midfield. He broke their midfield possession, I think.
He did.
Let's see here.
He did.
So Loba and Cadiz link up. Let's see here. First goal, arcing ball from McCarty to Mukhtar. Second goal, the Rios. I think that's it.
I think that's about it. Wow.
Okay. That's all on my list.
Yeah. Well, NSC Fan TV, Drew.
Scott.
Signing off.
All right, that was perfect.